Welcome to this comprehensive presentation on the history of osteopathic medicine. I'm Christopher Medina Dio, and today we'll explore the fascinating journey of osteopathic medicine from its revolutionary beginnings in 1874 to its current status as a major force in modern healthcare. Before we begin our historical journey, let's review what you'll learn from this presentation. By the end of our time together, you'll be able to describe the context of 19th century medicine that led A.T. Still to develop his revolutionary osteopathic philosophy. You'll identify key dates and events spanning from 1874 to 2023 that shaped our profession. You'll understand the challenges and remarkable growth periods of osteopathic medicine. You'll recognize how osteopathic education and licensure standards developed over time. And finally, you'll appreciate the progression towards acceptance and integration in modern healthcare while maintaining our distinctive identity. To understand why osteopathic medicine was revolutionary, we must first understand what medicine looked like in the 1800s. Conventional medicine was dominated by what was called heroic medicine or allopathic medicine. This wasn't heroic in a positive sense, rather it was named for its aggressive, often brutal approach to treatment. The core belief system was based on ancient Greek medicine. Physicians believed the human body consisted of four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Disease was thought to be the result of an imbalance of these humors, and the physician's role was to restore balance through aggressive interventions. But here's where it gets troubling. If a patient had too much blood, doctors would use leeches or direct bloodletting. If there was an infection in a limb, they would amputate. Remember, this was before antibiotics existed. If someone had too much bile, doctors would induce vomiting through mercury poisoning. These methods were so brutal and ineffective that they likely contributed to President George Washington's death in 1799. The barbaric nature of heroic medicine naturally led to various alternative healing movements. In many instances, people were dying from the cure rather than the disease, so they sought gentler alternatives. Several movements emerged. Homeopathy promoted the idea that like cures like, using highly diluted substances. Thompsonism focused on herbal medicine and steam baths. Grahamism emphasized dietary reform and healthy living. This is where graham crackers got their name. Hydrotherapy used water-based treatments. Lightning bone setters specialized in manual manipulation. Chiropractic would later focus specifically on spinal adjustment. And finally, osteopathy emerged as a holistic manual medicine approach. Each of these represented a reaction against the violence of conventional medicine, but osteopathy would prove to be the most comprehensive and scientifically grounded alternative. Now let's meet the man who would revolutionize medicine. Andrew Taylor Still was born on August 6, 1828 in Jonesville, Virginia. His father, Abram Still, was both a Methodist circuit minister and a physician. This dual role wasn't uncommon on the frontier. His mother was Martha Moore. This combination of spiritual and medical calling in his family would profoundly influence A.T. Still's later holistic approach to medicine. He became a licensed physician through the apprenticeship route, training directly under his father. There were two main pathways to becoming a physician in the 1800s. The medical school route required attending one of the few medical schools. The first was founded at the University of Pennsylvania in 1765. Students would study for 3 to 4 years, earn an MB or MD degree, and then set up practice typically serving wealthier urban patients. The apprenticeship route, which A.T. Still followed, involved training under a registered physician for 1 to several years. Apprentices learned about medicinal, midwifery, and surgery. Their mentor would sign a statement of competency, sometimes involving a test, sometimes just the mentor's endorsement. These physicians typically served common people in rural practices. This apprenticeship system actually provided more hands-on practical experience than many medical schools of the time, which were often little more than lecture halls. A.T. Still's medical education was remarkably comprehensive for his time. He accompanied his father on medical rounds, gaining real-world experience with patients. He was an avid hunter and trapper, which gave him unique anatomical insight. He would skin animals and study their muscles, bones, ligaments, joints, and other structures in detail. He studied anatomy textbooks extensively and even studied cadavers from Native American burial grounds, a practice that would be unethical today, but provided crucial anatomic knowledge in an era where cadavers for medical study were extremely rare. This deep anatomical knowledge would become the foundation of his osteopathic philosophy. Through this comprehensive approach, he became a licensed physician and would later serve as a surgeon during the Civil War. One of the most important moments in osteopathic history came from A.T. Still's personal experience with headaches as a young man. He discovered something remarkable through his own experimentation. As he later wrote, "So I let the rope down to about 8 inches off the ground, threw the end of a blanket on it, and lay down on the ground and used the rope for a swinging pillow. So thus I lay stretched on my back with my neck across the rope. Soon I became easy and went to sleep. Got up in a little while with my headache all gone." This simple experience taught him a profound principle, that the relationship between anatomical structure and physiological function could be manipulated to promote healing. This would become one of the core tenets of osteopathic medicine, that structure and function are interrelated. The true catalyst for A.T. Still's break from conventional medicine came through devastating personal tragedy. He experienced multiple family losses to meningitis and other diseases that conventional medicine couldn't treat effectively. Looking at his family tree, we see the heartbreaking losses. Abram Price Still died in 1864 from meningitis. Susan B. Still died in 1864 from meningitis. And Marshall Still died in 1864 from meningitis. Multiple children lost to the same disease despite receiving the best conventional medical care available. The traditional treatments, bloodletting, and other cathartics proved not just ineffective, but potentially harmful. Still later identified these experiences as the turning point in his break from traditional medicine. He realized that medicine needed a completely different approach. A.T. Still didn't develop his ideas in isolation. He was influenced by several contemporary healing movements. Franz Anton Mesmer's animal magnetism proposed that magnets could affect biological processes. Mesmer used magnets to induce hypnotic states. This is where we get the word mesmerize. Interestingly, modern neuroscience has validated that electrical and magnetic fields do affect brain function, and magnetic stimulation is now used to treat conditions like refractory depression. Still was also trained in the lightning bone-setting tradition, which emphasized manual manipulation for healing. This gave him the hands-on skills that would become central to osteopathic treatment. A contemporary, Daniel David Palmer, also worked as a magnetic healer and lightning bone setter. Palmer famously treated a deaf janitor named Harvey Lillard with cervical spine manipulation, apparently restoring his hearing. This led Palmer to found the chiropractic discipline, focusing specifically on subluxations and nerve function. While related to osteopathy, chiropractic developed as a more narrowly focused discipline. Here we come to the most important date in osteopathic history. On June 22nd, 1874, A.T. Still made his historic declaration. On June 22nd, 1874, I flung to the breeze the banner of osteopathy. This date is considered the official birth of osteopathic medicine. It represents the moment when Still formally broke from conventional medicine and announced his new approach to healing. After this declaration, Still relocated his practice to Kirksville, Missouri. Interestingly, though he was a fully licensed physician, he chose to advertise himself as a lightning bone setter rather than a doctor. This was partly strategic. People were suspicious of conventional physicians, but they trusted bone setters who had a reputation for gentle, effective treatment. 18 years after declaring osteopathy, A.T. Still took the crucial step of formalizing osteopathic education. On May 10, 1892, he obtained a charter for the first osteopathic school in Kirksville, Missouri, called the American School of Osteopathy, or ASO. Today, this institution is known as A.T. Still University. The mission statement reveals Still's comprehensive vision to improve our systems of surgery, midwifery, and the treatment of diseases in which the adjustment of bones is the leading feature of this school of pathology. Also to instruct and qualify students so that they may lawfully practice the science of osteopathy as taught and practiced by A.T. Still, the discoverer of this philosophy. A key faculty member was William Smith, an 1889 graduate of the University of Edinburgh, with certificates from the Royal College of Physicians, Royal College of Surgeons, and Faculty of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. Dr. Smith was in America selling surgical equipment when local physicians complained about Dr. Still taking their business. Intrigued by the discrepancies in what he'd heard, Smith visited Still's office, found it packed with patients, and was captivated by Still's knowledge and theories. He agreed to teach anatomy at the ASO and became the first person to receive a diploma from the school. The first graduating class in 1893 was historic in multiple ways. There were 22 students total, including 5 women. This was remarkable for the 1890s when women were largely excluded from medical education. A.T. Still made a crucial decision about degrees. Under the original charter, he could have awarded the MD degree, but instead he chose to create the distinctive Diplomat of Osteopathy, or DO degree. This established osteopathic medicine as a separate but equal profession rather than just another medical school. Interestingly, Still wasn't entirely confident in his first graduates. He issued certificates but urged them to repeat the course, saying only the brainy members returned. This shows his commitment to thorough education and high standards. The second class included 4 women and Still continued to build the institution, constructing the A.T. Still Infirmary in 1894 and later expanding to the A.T. Still Surgical Sanitarium. A.T. Still was also a prolific author who documented his revolutionary ideas. Still wrote 4 foundational books that continue to influence osteopathic practice today. His autobiography provides personal insights into his journey of discovery. The Philosophy and Mechanical Principles of Osteopathy and Philosophy of Osteopathy outlined his core theoretical framework, emphasizing the body's inherent ability to heal itself when its structure and function are properly aligned. Finally, Osteopathy Research and Practice demonstrates his commitment to advancing the field through systematic study and clinical application. These works collectively establish the intellectual foundation upon which modern osteopathic medicine is built. 2 crucial developments occurred in consecutive years. In 1896, Vermont became the first state to license osteopathic physicians for the practice of medicine. This was a monumental achievement, official government recognition that osteopathic physicians were qualified to practice medicine. The following year, 1897, saw the establishment of the American Association for the Advancement of Osteopathy, also known as the AAAO, which is now the American Osteopathic Association, or AOA. This organization served multiple crucial functions: political advocacy to fight for osteopathic rights, scholarly work to advance the profession scientifically, and publication of the Journal of Osteopathy to disseminate knowledge and maintain professional standards. These 2 milestones, state licensure and professional organization, provided the legal and organizational foundation for osteopathic medicine's growth. In 1898, the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine, or AACOM, was formed to oversee colleges of osteopathic medicine and advise on educational standards. This organization coordinates nationwide curriculum development to ensure consistency across all osteopathic medical schools. A related organization that would become crucial later is ECOP, the Educational Council on Osteopathic Principles, formed in 1969. ECOP is a component of AACOM composed of OMM representatives from each college. Their mission is to develop nationwide standards for osteopathic principles education, ensuring that all osteopathic physicians receive consistent training in our distinctive philosophy and techniques. 1910 brought one of the greatest challenges in osteopathic history with the publication of the Flexner Report. Abraham Flexner, working for the Carnegie Foundation and commissioned by the AMA, conducted a comprehensive study of medical education because there were concerns about too many unqualified physicians. Flexner personally visited 157 U.S. schools and 8 Canadian schools, evaluating them on teaching staff, entrance requirements, financial status, laboratory facilities, and clinical resources. Schools were rated A, B, or C, with only 31 orthodox schools recommended to remain open. Many osteopathic colleges were rated poorly, and several closed. However, this crisis ultimately strengthened the profession. The surviving osteopathic schools upgraded their facilities and standards significantly. Rather than destroying osteopathic medicine, the Flexner Report forced it to become more rigorous and scientifically grounded while maintaining its distinctive philosophy. The early 1900s saw steady progress in legal recognition despite significant opposition. By 1913, 39 states had passed osteopathic practice laws and 17 provided for independent boards. By 1923, 46 states had osteopathic practice laws and 27 provided for independent boards. However, the American Medical Association mounted serious opposition. In 1923, the AMA Judicial Council ruled that no member of the AMA could ethically consult with DOs. This was escalated in 1938 when the AMA House of Delegates officially forbade professional relationships between DOs and MDs, claiming it would lead to a system known to be substandard or even harmful. This professional isolation was intended to destroy osteopathic medicine, but it actually strengthened the profession's resolve and independence. Fortunately, osteopathic medicine had some powerful advocates. Samuel Clemens, better known as Mark Twain, testified on behalf of osteopaths in the New York State Legislature. When physicians claimed that DOs were quacks, Twain ripped their arguments to shreds and urged compromise for MDs and DOs to dwell together in harmony. His famous quote was prophetic. 10 years hence, no sane man will call a doctor except when the knife must be used. The educated physician will himself be an osteopath. I want osteopathy to prosper. It is common sense and scientific and cures a wider range of ailments than the doctor's methods can reach. Theodore Roosevelt also continued to advocate for osteopathic medicine after his presidency, providing significant political support during crucial legislative battles. On December 12, 1917, A.T. Still passed away at the age of 89. A statue had been erected in his honor in Kirksville Town Square earlier that year on May 23rd. His death marked the end of the founding era, but by this time, osteopathic medicine was well established with multiple schools, thousands of practitioners, and growing legal recognition. Still left behind not just a profession, but a philosophy and approach to medicine that would continue to evolve and grow throughout the 20th century. A significant development occurred in 1927 when the Associated Colleges of Osteopathy voted to include materia medica, the study of pharmacology, into the curriculum of all osteopathic schools. This decision was crucial because it integrated modern pharmacology with osteopathic principles. Rather than rejecting advances in medical science, osteopathic medicine embraced them while maintaining its distinctive identity. This approach of integrating the best of modern medicine with osteopathic philosophy would become a hallmark of the profession. In 1934, the National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners, or NBOME, was established. Originally called the National Board of Examiners for Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons, this independent, non-governmental, not-for-profit organization was created to protect the public through standardized examinations. This was an important step in self-regulation and unrestricted licensure for the profession. Rather than being subject to examinations designed by other medical organizations, osteopathic physicians now had their own professional standards and testing, ensuring consistent qualifications across all states. The period from 1939 to 1958 saw progressive strengthening of educational requirements. In 1939, 1 year of pre-professional college was required for matriculation. This increased to 2 years in 1940, then 3 years in 1958. In 1944, standards were adopted for osteopathic hospital registration. In 1947, saw the first approval of osteopathic hospitals for residency training. A crucial court decision in 1950 in Audrain County, Missouri, established DO's rights to practice as complete physicians and surgeons, including prescribing drugs and performing surgery. These developments gradually elevated osteopathic medical education to match the highest standards in medical training while preserving osteopathic distinctiveness. A major milestone came in 1952 when the U.S. Department of Education granted the Commission of Osteopathic College Accreditation, or COCA, recognition as the only accrediting agency with authority to accredit institutions granting the DO degree. This federal recognition legitimized osteopathic medical education at the highest level, enabled federal funding and support programs, and established COCA's authority over osteopathic medical education. This was crucial validation that osteopathic medical education met federal standards for medical training. The 1960s brought both the greatest threat and ultimate triumph in osteopathic history with the California crisis. In 1961, the California Osteopathic Association announced its merger with the American Medical Association. For just $65, California DOs could receive MD degrees through weekend seminars. The College of Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons in Los Angeles became an allopathic medical school, and approximately 2,500 unearned MD degrees were granted. In 1962, the California Medical Association successfully lobbied the state to pass a law prohibiting new DOs from receiving medical licenses in California. This seemed like it might be the end of osteopathic medicine in the nation's largest state. However, 260 DOs refused to give up. They formed the Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons of California, chartered by the AOA to maintain osteopathic identity, and began a long legal battle. Their persistence paid off. In 1974, the California Supreme Court declared the 1962 legislation unconstitutional, restoring DO licensing rights. This victory demonstrated the resilience and determination of the osteopathic profession. The 1960s also brought significant federal recognition. In 1963, DOs were accepted by civil service as medical officers, and the Health Professions Educational Assistance Act was passed, including matching construction rights for osteopathic colleges and student loans. Military service began in 1966 when the first DO was commissioned into the U.S. Military Medical Corps. The same year, the AOA was designated as the official accrediting body for osteopathic hospitals under Medicare, crucial recognition for federal healthcare programs. By 1967, DOs were being drafted as medical officers in the armed forces, and by 1969, almost 200 DOs were serving as medical officers in the military, just 3 years after the first commissioning. This rapid integration demonstrated both the need for osteopathic physicians and their competence in military medicine. In 1969, the Educational Council on Osteopathic Principles, or ECOP, was formed as an independent group focused on osteopathic principles education. Officially starting on March 27, 1974, ECOP is composed of OMM representatives from each college who collaborate to develop nationwide standards. ECOP's mission is crucial: to maintain the distinctive osteopathic identity in medical education while ensuring consistent, high-quality training in osteopathic principles across all colleges. This organization continues to play a vital role in preserving what makes osteopathic medicine unique. A major milestone was achieved in 1973 when the DO degree was recognized in all 50 states and in the District of Columbia. This marked the end of state-by-state battles for recognition and provided full practice rights across the United States. This complete recognition meant professional mobility for osteopathic physicians and complete integration into the American healthcare system while maintaining professional distinctiveness. No longer would osteopathic physicians face restrictions based on geography. Osteopathic medicine has a proud tradition of research dating back to Louisa Burns, DO, the first in the osteopathic profession to conduct long-term research. She published extensively on osteopathic principles, served as director of the A.T. Still Research Institute, and conducted groundbreaking research on sympathetic innervation of visceral organs in relationship to osteopathic lesions. Additional early research by Denslow and Core focused on areas like facilitated segments and exoplasmic transport, building the scientific foundation for osteopathic principles. Modern osteopathic research faces unique challenges. There's been pressure to conduct research similar to pharmaceutical studies, but the profession has recognized that OMT is procedural, like surgery, rather than pharmaceutical. This has led to the development of outcome studies and evidence-based practice focused on the unique aspects of osteopathic treatment. Professional recognition continued to grow. In 1996, the first DO was established as a flag officer in the Military Medical Corps, demonstrating that osteopathic physicians could achieve the highest levels of military leadership. A major milestone came in 2005 when all 50 states recognized the Comprehensive Osteopathic Medical Licensing Examination, USA or COMLEX USA series, for osteopathic physician licensure. This created a standardized national examination system with recognition of osteopathic-specific testing, providing professional autonomy in licensure standards rather than relying on examinations designed for allopathic physicians. One of the most significant recent developments began in 2014 with the announcement of a transition to a single accreditation system for graduate medical education. This transition was completed in 2020 with the first combined DO and MD match. While DOs were always able to train in ACGME-accredited residencies, this change created a single residency-managed experience, dramatically increasing residency opportunities for osteopathic graduates. The integration unified the graduate medical education system while maintaining osteopathic identity. Osteopathic graduates still receive distinctive training, but they have better access to the full range of residency programs. The most recent milestone came in 2023 when 47 countries belonging to the International Association of Medical Regulatory Authorities voted to support comprehensive practice rights for U.S.-trained DOs. This international recognition provides global validation of osteopathic medical education, enhances mobility for osteopathic physicians worldwide, and represents global acceptance of the distinctive osteopathic approach to medicine. Osteopathic medicine is no longer just an American phenomenon. It's gaining recognition as a valuable approach to healthcare worldwide. The growth of osteopathic medicine has been remarkable. From 9,950 osteopathic physicians in 1940, we've grown to 197,398 in 2025. You can see the impact of the California merger in 1965 when the numbers dropped, but the growth resumed and accelerated dramatically. Today, approximately 70% of osteopathic physicians are age 45 or younger, making this a young, dynamic profession. Even more impressive, osteopathic medical students now represent 28% of all medical students in the United States. We currently have 43 accredited colleges of osteopathic medicine at 69 locations in 36 states, with more in development. Let me share the current ECOP definition of a U.S.-trained osteopathic physician. This definition represents all osteopathic physicians, regardless of specialty. A U.S.-trained osteopathic physician is one who has graduated from a COCA-accredited institution and is a fully qualified and licensed physician educated within the context of a distinct, patient-centered, health-oriented philosophy and trained to combine specialized diagnostic and therapeutic hands-on skills, that's OMT, with the latest advances in the science and practice of medicine to offer comprehensive healthcare to patients. This definition captures what makes osteopathic physicians distinctive while emphasizing that we are fully qualified physicians who integrate the best of modern medicine with our unique approach. Let's review the major themes of this remarkable history. Osteopathic medicine was born from a crisis, a reaction to the brutal practices of 19th century heroic medicine. It survived professional opposition and legal challenges through the determination and vision of its practitioners. The profession maintained its distinctive identity while embracing scientific advances, achieving full integration into the modern healthcare system. Educationally, we started with a single school in 1892, survived the Flexner Report crisis through quality improvements, achieved federal recognition and standardization, and now represent 28% of all medical students. Professional recognition progressed from state-by-state battles to universal acceptance, military service integration, and now international recognition. Throughout this journey, osteopathic medicine has maintained leadership in patient-centered holistic care. Looking to the future, we see continued growth in numbers and influence, ongoing commitment to maintaining osteopathic distinctiveness, development of evidence-based research, and global expansion of osteopathic principles. As you reflect on this history, consider these questions. How did the brutal practices of 19th century heroic medicine create the environment for osteopathic medicine's development? What role did personal tragedy play in AT's stilled break from conventional medicine? How did the Flexner Report both challenge and ultimately strengthen osteopathic medical education? What were the key factors that enabled osteopathic medicine to survive professional opposition and achieve full integration? And finally, how does the current growth of osteopathic medicine reflect changing healthcare needs and patient preferences? The history of osteopathic medicine demonstrates remarkable resilience, innovation, and commitment to patient-centered care. From A.T. Still's revolutionary ideas in 1874 to today's internationally recognized profession, osteopathic physicians have maintained their distinctive identity while embracing scientific advancement. As future osteopathic physicians, you inherit this rich legacy of holistic healing, manual medicine, and comprehensive patient care. Understanding this history helps you to appreciate not only where the profession has been, but also your role in shaping its future. The osteopathic profession's journey from a single practitioner's revolutionary idea to a major force in modern healthcare illustrates the power of principled persistence, scientific rigor, and unwavering commitment to patient welfare. You are now part of this continuing story. The question is, how will you contribute to the next chapter of osteopathic medicine's remarkable history? Thank you for your attention, and I hope this historical foundation helps you better understand and appreciate the distinctive profession you are entering.